YouTube, it's Ghostwriter15 back at it again here with a GOAT format video. This week's GOAT format video is going to be a duel review between me and JCVD. He's one of the best GOAT control players in this format, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So he wins RPS, and obviously he's going to go first. In GOAT format, you always draw 6, so it makes sense to always go first. So my opening hand is Magician Faith, Ring, Nobleman, Solemn, and Heavy. That's not bad, but that's not great either. Unfortunately for me, he starts off with Pot of Greed, the best spell in the format in my opinion. Easy +1, you don't have to work for it. And then on my turn, I draw Zambira the Dark, which is something I've been testing out in the main. A lot of players have been trying it out now. Recently, Anthony Alvarado topped with it. He actually won a tournament. So I just set ring and pass. I don't think there's much else I want to do here. Next, he summons DD Warrior Lady. And because he summons that, I'm thinking he might be playing Warriors. But I'm still not 100% sure because he usually plays Go Control. And here I decide to activate Ring because I don't want to take too much damage if it is Warriors. And I draw into Sangan, which is pretty good here. I normal summon it because I don't want this getting knocked. He's already taken some sort of damage, and I want to keep pressing damage. Next, he draws Graceful. And right here, I'm thinking about using my Solemn. It's probably not a good idea to use it in a complicated game state like this, where there's a lot of cards still to be activated. And I think right here, I just panicked a bit, so I activated it. I was afraid that he was going to go like Sinister or Night Assailant, and I was going to fall behind even more. So I go ahead and use the Solemn. He baits me out. He gets Tribe with Snatch Deal. He takes my Sangan, swings with both. And here I'm thinking, okay, this has to be over. He has to have a ring, right? So he sets one, and then he says DP for draw phase. And of course, yes, he does have the ring. Like, there's no reason for him to do this play without having the ring. So I admit defeat right here. Game two, I'm not too sure how to side deck because I didn't see that many cards. All I saw from him were DD Warrior Lady, Tribe, Snatch Steel, and Ring. So that doesn't really tell me enough. I'm still kind of thinking he's on Warrior. So I sat into some battle traps, but that's about it. So now, game two, my opening hand is Spy, Dust Shoot, Duo, MST, Sinister, and Thunder Dragon, which is a pretty decent hand. Here, I go ahead and activate the Duo first. I know there's some players that like to wait and use the Dust Shoot first. That way you can hit cards like Sinister Serpent before you activate the Duo. But I like using the Duo first. I like getting my +1 right away. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but like I just like getting the +1. And here he discards Metamorphosis and Giant Trunade. So now I'm not even sure what he's playing at all. Like usually that sort of combination is something like Reasoning Gate. But because last duel I saw Tribe Infecting Virus, I don't think he's on Reasoning Gate. So maybe he's just like teching a Giant Trunade in Go Control. So I go ahead and activate my Thunders, of course. Get that easy +1. Set Spy, set Dust Shoot, and pass. Oh, and also set MSC as well. So here, I Dust Shoot him. And his hand is Ring, Blade Knight, Torrential Tribute, and Brain Control. So obviously, I'm gonna send back Blade Knight. That's his only monster. And here he sets one. I go ahead and use the MST. I activate Spy's effect, of course, and I attack with both. I set Sinister. Here, I think I probably made a slight mistake. I probably should have tributed one of the spies for a Thunder Dragon. That way, I can play around the brain control. But at the same time, I kind of want to bait out the brain control already. I just want it out of this duel. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to deal with it. So he uses it to crash into my spies. Next, he just sets one, and I'm pretty sure that's the card that I already know. Yep, it's the ring. Right here, I just set the Dust Shoot, try to bluff. This is where I think Dust Shoot is a bit overrated. Like, yeah, it's a great card, but there are times when it's just going to be dead and doing nothing. He just passes turn, for unfortunately for me, and I get back my Sinister. Here I set Spy. I choose not to go aggressive because I know he plays Blade Knight, and I actually have no type of protection here besides Spy, so I'd rather just wall up on the Spy. He top decks into Breaker. He pops the back row, which I'm fine with. It's just a bluff. He attacks, and because of the Spy play, I'm protected, and I don't have to worry about taking damage. Here I draw Solemn. I just set that. Set the Snake just in case and pass. So here he sets one card before playing pot, and this is to play around Trap Dust Shoot. He's a good player, so he obviously knows about that. And here, I'm thinking about using the pot or using the Solemn on the pot, and I do end up using it because it's a very simplified game state. And in situations like that, it's most likely a good idea to Solemn a Trinity card. So he searches for Exiled, and here I'm hoping he uses the Exiled on Sinister, but he doesn't. And then he prematures for Exiled, and now again I'm hoping he uses the effect on Sinister. But JCVD is a good player. He knows that I most likely have Sinister set. I take a lot of damage here, and I'm looking to be in a really bad spot right now. I draw Upstart, use the Upstart, and I draw into the best monster in the format. This is why I like playing Upstart. Like, it just helps you get into the cards you want to see. So because of that, I'm able to win this duel. Now I have a better idea of what to side deck for game 3. I know he's on some sort of goal control strategy, like with an aggressive type of build. So I'm going second, and here I draw Zambira, Regeki Break, BLS, Zambira, and Sork. Not the greatest hand, but at least it's going to protect me from his aggressive plays from cards like Blade Knight. He sets 20 passes. Here he does shoots me, and he decides to send back Blade Knight. I'm not so sure about this. I don't know if I agree. Maybe sending back BLS is better, but maybe he just doesn't have an answer to this Blade Knight. Here I just set the Regeki Break, summon Zambira, and pass. Zambira is pretty underrated, even in matchups that aren't Warrior. Like, you can still use the Zambira as an offensive wall, similar to Spy, but in attack mode. So he just sets one and passes. I draw into widespread. I set the widespread and pass. Not much else to do. He also passes, and I draw Snatch Steal. Not much to do here, so I just pass. He finds the duel, unfortunately for me, and he ends up hitting the Snatch Steal. So right here, I have a decision to make. I have to discard another card. So I'm thinking of discarding the Sorcerer here, which might be incorrect. I don't know. I feel like I value the BLS too high to give that up. The other option would be to discard Zambara, but I don't know. I'd rather have a normal summon, so I go ahead and discard the Sorcerer, and it ends up working out because I draw into another Sorcerer that's dead, so it's fine. He just sets another back row and passes. So right here, this is telling me that either all his back row is chainable or he has a solemn. I draw into Tribe. I just pass turn. There's no point in summoning Tribe here. There's the Jar Greed that he just set. He draws into Sangan, summons it in attack mode. And here he activates Creature Swap, which I don't know if I agree with this play. Like, obviously, I don't know the rest of his hand, but I don't think this is necessary. Like, if I attack into his Sangan, he can just search for Tsukiyomi, which is a problem for the Zambara anyway. So I really think he could have saved that Creature Swap for something else. So I just let that go through. And here I have a decision to make. I can let it go through or use my Widespread Ruin. I decided to go with the Widespread Ruin play because he's going to get a search from this Sangan. And if he gets Tsukiyomi, he can keep flipping my Zambara face up and face down and reset its stats. And that's going to be annoying because I don't have ways to deal with that besides like crashing into it with Zambara or using the tribe. And I don't want to do that, so I just go ahead and get rid of the Zambara. And what this does, it allows me to apply more pressure with his own Sangan. He's not low on life yet, but it adds up. I just go ahead and set that new Saku that I drew and pass. So he top decks into DD Warrior Lady, and he attacks. I'm gonna stay with my game plan. I'm gonna stick to it and Sakuretsu that. I'm just pushing for damage. And here I draw the ring. Now my game plan of pushing for damage is even better. And this is exactly what I wanted. Now the goal here is to try to win this game with something like ring. Obviously, I'm not too far behind yet in card advantage, but it's certainly not in my favor. So ring is one way to be able to steal this game. So I'm just going to apply pressure with this Sangan to see if I can get him low enough to be able to win with ring. Here he summons Tribe. He activates Priority. Discards his Nobleman. So discarding Nobleman tells me that he has another copy of Nobleman or a Mind Control in his hand. Because I don't think there's a way that you discard Nobleman for no reason against a turbo player. Like, you have to have another copy or a Mind Control to do that. Especially if you're using it on a Sangan. So he gets a little desperate there, gets rid of the Sangan to alleviate some of the pressure. He searches for Sinister. I take the damage. I don't need to use this ring or Regeki break. I have a Zambara to clear this tribe. He sets one and passes. I draw into Solemn, which is really good here. That way I can try to protect this ring and I can try to resolve it. I normal summon Zambara and just swing. He takes it, sets all and pass. Here he top decks into Pot of Greed. I decided to let it go because game one I got punished for activating Solomon the Graceful in a complicated game state. And here we're in a even more complicated game state, so I just decided to let that go. Here he drops his BLS, and I have to debate on using Solemn or not. So I'm pretty sure at this point he has his own Solemn. So I have to try to make it seem like I have to Solemn this BLS or I lose. And then he's gonna go ahead and Solemn back so he can keep his BLS and win. So here I just decided to do that. And he activates his own Solemn, as I was hoping for. And now this ring that I have is potentially lethal. Along with the Regeki break, I can try to make this ring resolve as much as possible and win the game. So here he attacks, and I have to think on this really hard because if he has his another Solemn or if he has Book of Moon, this ring isn't going to win me the game. I think I'm a little too far behind in card advantage to win that way, so I'm trying to steal this game with a ring. So I have to think if I'm going to use this Regeki break on one of those back rows to try to 50-50 hit the Solemn. And I decide to actually just let it go and use the Regeki break on the BLS, discarding my BLS to target his BLS. Here I'm hoping that he uses the Solemn so I can make my ring go through and win the game that way. So he's thinking here, he lets it go through. So he kind of has the idea that I have a ring set. I'm trying to win that way. And the reason I discarded BLS over Sork is because I have no lights in my graveyard. And this is going to be one of the ways I try to steal this game if I'm going to do it. I need a light in the graveyard. So here he activates Metamorphosis, which I'm okay with. I have a tribe. Now I top deck into Mirror Force. I don't feel that I'm going to win this game by setting that Mirror Force. I don't think the waiting game is going to be in my favor at all. So here I just decide to go all out. I summon Tribe. I go ahead and activate the effect. He chains Parental Tribute. And now I have the perfect opportunity to steal this game. But he solemns here. So now I can't activate my ring to win. The good news is he's down to 1,125. Almost any monster here is game. As long as he doesn't play around this ring, my one card that I have, I can win this game. He adds back Sinister. Here he activates Premature, targeting BLS. And right here, I'm going to activate the ring immediately. There's no reason for me to wait because the way I lose here is if he tributes for Jinzo. Now I can't even use my ring and I lose. Another way I lose if he has Book of Moon, but I can't wait to the end phase to use the ring because he's going to attack with BLS and now it's going to be a draw instead of a win for me. So here I just decide to use it right away as soon as it's summoned and he says GG. That's going to be the match. I end up winning 2-1. Fortunately for me, my game plan of stealing the game with ring ended up working out. So yeah, that's it. That's it for today. That's the end of this Duel review. Let me know if you like this type of content. Please like and subscribe. This is Ghostwriter 15 signing out.